Hey guys, Lucas Catton here, and I want to share something with you today, sort of an expansion of some of the things I've been working on. And one of them is I'm starting a new podcast. And in trying to find out what I'm going to call it, I named it really just what it's supposed to be, and that's Support for Guys. And I've been kicking around the idea for a while, and I even talked about this in an earlier video that I did that I shared on Facebook, and that's talking about digging deeper as well, and how a lot of stuff with guys and some of the venues and forums and talk show hosts and all kind of things out there that are guys really try and focus on things that are potentially either really stereotypical of men or try and make us be a certain way or do a certain thing. Sometimes are judgmental, sometimes forward things that are societal enforcements of how a guy is supposed to look or act or feel or be or say or do or whatever, right? And that it's been hard to find something where guys can just actually communicate about things, communicate about things that are very real in life that they often don't communicate about at all, let alone with the people that are closest with them, and certainly not just other guys, because guys don't usually talk about some of the more serious things, but they want to. And I mentioned in the first little podcast, and I've talked about this before or wrote about it somewhere, that Lewis Howes has written a couple books, and one of them is called The Mask of Masculinity, and in it he brings up a good topic about testing or taking a look at some of these things and what it means to be a man or to be masculine, etc., and taking away some of those masks that we wear, right, or that we are given and that we have then put on, and look underneath there and what's really going on, and really how can we as people, not just guys, but really as people, how can we have a more fulfilling life? How can we have deeper conversations about things that are more meaningful? How can we feel a better sense of belonging in the world, especially with those who are closest to us, and still talk about many of those other things, such as sports, such as relationships, such as religion, politics, spirituality, being separate from religion as well, and so many other things, philosophy, without having to get into some argument or really taking this really hard side, right? If something is overly conservative or overly liberal or heavily Christian or non-denominational of anything, right? To where anybody who subscribes to anything must be delusional or whatever. There's so many different things where it's just a lot of judgment. So anyways, what this is, it's called Support for Guys, and what I'd like to do is start really a lot of these conversations and talk about some things that are deeper, some things that are more meaningful, without having to come from a specific filter or lens through a stance on any one topic, one way or the other. So those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about coming up, and I wanted to just introduce it real quickly in this video. But if you go to soundcloud.com/Lucas Catton, that's where the first episode is. And I'd love to hear some topics that people would like to discuss. I'd like to be able to move forward with putting, as I go with bringing people on and doing some deeper discussion that way. And if not, then certainly what I'll try and do is share some of those deeper discussions that I do have sort of off mic and off camera, and just talk about things in life. And then I'd love to hear some feedback and comments and emails, whatever. Go to lucascatton.com, comment on this video, possibly comment on the podcast. I'll try to make it more available. But that's really what the goal is, to open up and have a more fulfilling life as a whole, and not leave people out there, and certainly guys who don't necessarily have these type of support groups amongst themselves, unless there's something really really wrong, like everybody has something wrong, but unless there's something really wrong where they have a designated support group for that thing, that's one thing. I shouldn't say wrong, something that they're dealing with. So let's have a general one. Let's talk. And I've seen some other people have some guy groups and men's support groups and things like that. But let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about children. Let's talk about what it's like to be a dad, or to not have children, or to be a business owner, or to have a steady job or no job, or tons of money or no money, or whatever. Just these things that we don't have to be puffed up and feel like we have to dominate something or someone in order to prove ourselves, because there's nothing to prove. It's just some open discussion. Anyways, that's it. Again, support for guys, soundcloud.com/Lucas Catton, and hit me up. Let's talk. All right. Oh, by the way, I don't want to exclude women in that. There's plenty of spouses, girlfriends, sisters, mothers, coworkers, etc. That I don't want it to be exclusive in that regard. So it's really more an encouragement for guys, but it's, there might be something useful for all people. That's it. All right. Thanks. Bye.